I'm an actor. I'm serious. I can do this. I can do my own segment. I can look at a camera and I can do it. Alrighty. Shall we begin? I think we should. I'm gonna get comfortable. All right. Yeah. Hello, Internet. My name is Emma Catherine, but you can call me Daisy. If I look new or seem unfamiliar, that's because I am new and also unfamiliar. I am joining TTFT as the captain of correspondence for this new and special segment called Emma Everywhere.
I'm the captain now.
Every month, I'm going to take on a new challenge, reviewing movies, film festivals. This segment is kind of whatever I want it to be, and I'm really, really excited to join, so thank you, TTFT. So this month is spooky month for everybody. It is October. I love October. You can very much tell that I love October just because of the color scheme of my entire room. I am very much an orange and purple fiend. That is who I am. And this month, I decided I was going to review Beetlejuice. I have a very interesting relationship with Beetlejuice, as my background is film and theater, and Beetlejuice was actually recently made into a musical. I know, hear me out, it's actually really good. But I had actually technically seen the film, but technically not.
What you say?
But I had actually technically seen the film, but technically not.
I watched the film while recovering from dehydration and a hangover. Please drink responsibly. I was of age. Oh God, I was of age. I was with my mother. Yeah, that makes it worse. Where to start with Beetlejuice? So, I liked Beetlejuice a lot, and it's very, very interesting because now I get to compare it to the musical. It's very funny to me because the movie is an hour and a half, and the musical is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So they actually added a lot of different things into the musical, which I didn't realize. I knew the plot going in, of course. I know that, Adam and Barbara, they die. And then they go back to their house, and the Deets take over.
Sorry, man. Delia Dietz, welcome.
Charles.
It'd behoove us to not mention the director, Tim Burton. Tim Burton directed this. It's very, very obvious when you watch it that Tim Burton directed it. I knew the plot going in, and I thought that the plot was super duper fun. I think it was super original, when they made it in the 80s and everything like that. To this day, I think it definitely still holds up. A young couple dies and then come back to haunt their little country house while the big cityers move in and try to take over everything. And of course, there's a point to be made a little bit about capitalism too, as Lydia's dad tries to capitalize on the ghost being in his house and everything like that and tries to monetize it. I think it's super duper funny, and I think it's really, really awesome. As far as the characters are concerned, Lydia is iconic. I mean, Winona Ryder is absolutely amazing. She then immediately went on to do Heathers, I think almost immediately after this role too. And it's just Halloween legend Winona Ryder. She's absolutely incredible. And I didn't have a crush on her in this movie, but I grew up watching Heathers, and I totally had a crush on her in that movie.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
So yeah, Winona Ryder, A+, fantastic. And I mean, Michael Keaton is absolutely insane. He's very much Beetlejuice. He takes on any role possible and just fucking goes for it. I mean, Batman, Beetlejuice, there's gotta be another B character somewhere. Most likely. I could also completely tangent this and be why the fuck did we not get the Batgirl movie with him being Batman, because I was so pissed off because I totally wanted to see him as Batman again. We're not going to get on the 90 million tangent that is WB canceling Batgirl for monetary purposes and tax write-offs. Bullshit. Catherine O'Hara as Delia. It's Catherine O'Hara. What more do you want me to say? It's Catherine O'Hara. Kevin! I completely forgot that it was Catherine O'Hara in this movie playing Delia, too. Honestly, if I have to list the standouts from the cast, it is Catherine O'Hara as Delia. Of course, Winona Ryder's iconic as Lydia, and Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. When you've got Keaton and Winona just up there doing their thing, it's is going to be iconic. Something that I kind of wanted to focus on was Tim Burton's styling of this. Tim Burton is very much known for his, stop animation and everything like that. Nightmare Before Christmas is a perfect example. And I think he brought that stylization into the sand world worm and everything like that, the netherworld that we see in pieces. I think that stylization-wise, he didn't rely so much on CGI. When you put the Maitlands in the sand worm world, I can't say it, it's a tongue twister. When you put them in that world, it looked a little off-putting at times, just because I think like the mix of the CGI and the realistic effects didn't always mesh very, very well, and I definitely was questioning that a lot, especially with the sandworm, and then the final, spoiler alert, with the final scene and him eating Beetlejuice and everything like that. Like, there was sometimes a disconnect between what he was doing with those kind of stop animation big puppetries and the real world. Speaking about the styling too, I think Tim Burton was at his best with the actual sets themselves and where everything was placed. Taking the Maitland house and making it the Dietz house, and how he did that with the crazy architecture and the crazy sculptures, I think that was a really, really fun way to go. Why are you doing this to me? What I thought the movie did wrong and what I think the musical did correct. But then again, hindsight is always 20/20. And the musical was created nearly 2 decades after the movie premiered. So we're looking back on it in a very, very different lens nowadays. Movie musicals are hard. Let me just say that. When you take a movie, a piece of known literature, and you try to turn it into a musical, sometimes it works, and a lot of times it doesn't. I am looking at you, Mrs. Doubtfire the musical. Yes, it exists. Do not look it up. Hello! I think Beetlejuice, however, is one of those rare examples where I think it does work really, really well. I enjoyed myself a hell of a lot watching the musical. I thought it was super duper fun, and it made me more interested in the source material. I mentioned this earlier, and I'm going to bring this back up. The musical is 2.5 hours long. The movie is an hour and a half. It clocks in right at 1:32, I believe. What I think the musical did really, really well, that I think could have been expanded upon in the movie, was Lydia's backstory. It's more implied in the movie that her mother has died. They only have, that really short line about, Delia being Lydia's stepmom. It's mentioned half a second. You understand from the relationship that Delia and Lydia have that they're very much stepmom and stepdaughter. That's very much understood. In the musical, it's expanded upon. There's a very popular song from it called Dead Mom that Lydia does sing and everything like that. And there's more of a conflict between the two of them throughout the musical. And I thought that was something that was really, really well done. I did not realize how many plot changes were made. And I'm sitting there going, but where's this plot line? But where's this plot line? But where's this plot line? I think that the musical having an extra hour kind of added a little bit more of nuance to characters. We see her very briefly in the movie, Miss Argentina, who is sitting behind the desk in the little lobby to the netherworld. She's the receptionist because she's got that sash that says Miss Argentina. She has a whole backstory song in the musical, which I think is really, really cool. If you've never watched the musical, there's bootleg copies on YouTube, but I didn't say it and you did not hear it from me. They're actually going on a national tour, which is going to be really awesome. If you are a musical theater person and if you love Beetlejuice, I would highly recommend it because I thought it was really, really awesome, and I definitely think you will too. I did not talk about this, and I'm going to talk about this. Beetlejuice being a miniature is not something they ever talked about in the musical, and that was very funny to me how they introduced Beetlejuice. First and foremost, absolutely iconic that the movie is named Beetlejuice, and you do not get formally introduced to Beetlejuice until literally 47 minutes into this hour and a half film. Halfway through, and you finally get to meet Beetlejuice. I thought that was funny as hell and absolutely fantastic. And it's done by literally the Maitlands digging up from their little miniature town and everything like that. And as they're digging up, of course, they're not digging up dirt, they're digging up cardboard and pieces like that. I thought that was really funny and really, really well done. The devil is in the details with this movie, and I think that's really, really why a lot of people go back and watch it. And the football team being zombies and that reoccurring joke, the caseworker, she's smoking the cigarette and then there's the cut on her throat and that's leaking smoke. I thought that was a really fun little touch. What I like about the musical so much is tangent segue, is that these little moments that Burton was able to create in this movie is something that gets expanded upon. Miss Argentina, the football team, is actually featured in that song as well. Pygmy gets a shout out, the shrunken head, stuff like that gets kind of a little bit more of a bigger role in the musical, which I think is cool. And spoiler alert, Lydia actually goes into the netherworld in the musical. A lot of the musical focuses on Lydia's trauma of having lost her mom, and they explain that a lot more. I mean, the whole musical actually opens with Lydia's mom's funeral, and there's an absolute joke made about, what's the line? Hold on, I want to play it.
Holy crap! A ballad already? And such a bold departure from the original source material!
That's the line. I love what Beetlejuice has kind of become for a lot of people too, because let's be real, Beetlejuice, terrible person. I mean, he's marrying a 16-year-old. He's not a good guy. I mean, Beetlejuice is a terrible, terrible bioexorcist demon, but that's the point. He's not supposed to be a good person. He sucks. But it's Michael Keaton, and it's the people who have ultimately played him. And as an actor, that's something I definitely aspire to be, is to have a character that is, you know, so beloved, despite them being a total and utter dickhead.
Go ahead. Touch the gong. Like this.
I think that's why Beetlejuice is so popular. It's not because the main character is a good person, but it's because the main character is such a ridiculous caricature and brought to life so excellently by the actor behind it. I mean, you cannot recognize Michael Keaton in that role. If you had told me that was Michael Keaton, I would not have believed you. But I know it's Michael Keaton behind the mask, and he's so, so fucking good. Beetlejuice is so ridiculous. The character itself and the whole plot of, you know, a newlywed couple dying straight out and going back and being so terrible at scaring people that they have to hire a demon to help them out. I don't even know if this thing is still recording. I'm just praying it is right now, just because, like, if it's not, I am going to, like, cry.
You crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball!
Thank you so very much for joining me on Emma Everywhere. This was my very first segment, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you enjoy what we do here, the live shows for TTFT are every Tuesday at 9 p.m. You can join David, Royal, and Annie as they do top 10s, top 5s, just big old discussions about film and everything like that. They do a new show every single week. They're super awesome. And Royal is not family friendly, be warned.
Your pussy rate is about to go way up when you step into my shoes. The key part is sacrifice.
If you also want to support what we do, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. Thank you so very much for putting up with me, and I will see you guys next month. Bye.
E-M-M-A-Emma.